When I've made videos discussing what the next Animal Crossing game could be like, one of the questions that seems to pop up the most is when exactly can we expect to see this game release? Obviously, most of us realize that it'll be a while yet before we see the next mainline Animal Crossing game. After all, it's pretty unlikely that we'll see another one on the Nintendo Switch, as Animal Crossing historically has only had one game per console. Of course, this doesn't include spin-offs, which I definitely think we will see more of on the Nintendo Switch in the coming year or so. But the next game, how long realistically do we have to wait for it, and is it being worked on now? Nintendo is pretty secretive about this information, but I actually think we have good evidence that the next main Animal Crossing game is already being worked on as we speak, and it might have been worked on for a while so far. The main evidence for this dates back to Animal Crossing New Leaf when it first launched in November 2012 in Japan. Now, believe it or not, the main developers for Animal Crossing New Horizons confirmed that they started work on the game all the way back then when New Leaf launched. That's right, as soon as New Leaf was finished, they started work on the next mainline Animal Crossing game, which eventually turned out to be Animal Crossing New Horizons. Now, of course, it was a pretty different game back then, and they even did confirm that they didn't know what console this would be for, but I definitely think that originally New Horizons was probably going to be for the Wii U. Now, as we all know, it took about 8 years for New Horizons to finally release in March 2020, so that was a long time for them to be working on a new game. But of course, a lot went into Animal Crossing New Horizons. After all, they basically had to do it completely from scratch. They couldn't just use what they had with New Leaf, they had to do basically everything all over again. That tells me that if they started work on New Horizons right after New Leaf released, that likely they're probably currently working on the next main Animal Crossing game as we speak. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's close to releasing, although personally I don't think it'll be another 8 years after the huge success of New Horizons. They'll probably want to get stuff out quicker, but it's definitely still something that is pretty exciting to think about. Given that they continue to release updates and the huge Happy in Paradise DLC after launch, I don't think they started work on the game back in 2020 when it first launched. I do believe that they probably continued to work on the updates rather than a new iteration. That to me says that they probably started work on the next main Animal Crossing game either in November when the updates fully stopped, or sometime in 2022. Although it's worth considering, and a lot of people don't seem to realize this, Nintendo likely has a huge team dedicated to the Animal Crossing franchise, and divisions who do different things for the game. Likely there was one team working on updates for the game, whereas another could have been working on developing an entirely new game, or maybe Happy Home Paradise. Now, although it's frustrating that we will have to wait probably quite a long time until the next main Animal Crossing game, I think it's exciting that they probably are working on something right now, whether that is a new spin-off that they're going to release on the Switch, or even just the next mainline Animal Crossing game which we'll see whenever. Either way, I'm excited for the future of Animal Crossing, and I definitely think that New Horizons has given us an insight into how big the franchise is going to be. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you think. Also, as a kind of personal note, something that I don't usually do in these videos, I do want to say thank you to people who still support this content that I make. I understand that Animal Crossing has been a lot quieter lately, and it's definitely harder for me to make videos about the game now. So whilst that can be demotivating, I do really appreciate the support that you give me, and I thank you for being here. Now, for the usual outro, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications. If you made it to the end, be sure to comment Bob's Gang down below, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say thank you to these channel members for supporting me and the content that I make here. Their contributions allow me to keep making videos. If you want to support these videos and get some great perks for doing so, like access to our members only Discord, exclusive Bob emojis, and much more, then click the join button down below the video or the link in the description.